welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, Wize. Excuse me. And I'm excited. Today's guest is a true pioneer in the online business world, an award winning online entrepreneur who built a paid community of over 1,500 members, earned nearly 6 million through it, sold it, and now helps coaches and consultants build their own paid communities through her platform, Community Growth Academy. Community Growth Academy. With over a decade of experience and no fluff, Carol knows how to turn expertise into recurring income and genuine impact. If you've been looking to build something reliable, scalable, and aligned, this is your moment. Please welcome Carol Tice to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Will.
Oh man, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you for being a guest. So
My pleasure.
let's jump right into this. You began as a freelance writer, built the blog, and then found the paying community, a paid community, the freelance writers. Then, what moved you to start the community?
Well, what happened was I had the blog and people kept emailing me. Oh my God, I have a meeting tomorrow and I don't know what to bid and I don't know what to say. And I knew I could not be the full-time 24/7 Dear Abby of the freelance writing universe. That there had to be, some way to earn from this because it was taking a lot of my time. And at the time, I joined a paid community for bloggers to like become a better blogger and, do better with my blog that was promoting it. And as soon as I got in, I went, this is amazing. I love it. I'm learning so much. And I kind of instantly saw the magic of paid community, which is that is not learning from one person, but for the support of everyone else who is going through a similar journey, all the peer support. And I was like, this is great. And there's nothing like this for freelance writers, really. And there really should be. And then I kind of, had that thought in my head for a while. And probably at least a year went by. And then I went to a conference in Chicago, an online business conference put on by the late Liz Strauss, who was a very early mover in the blogging world. And just a lot of really inspiring speakers. And I got to meet some people I really admired, and I just came home going, "I gotta stop talking about this and just stand it up." And about 90 days later, it was up. So I just kind of came home and started doing all of the things that I now teach people to do to make for an easy launch. Obviously, I had built my list through my blog, which had been going for 3, 4, or 5 years by then, and I asked them, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting a community. What would that interest you? If so, what would you wanna find inside there? What would you be willing to pay for that stuff?" And then I, just built what they told me to and opened it. And I call this phase pre-marketing, where you kind of get people pregnant with the idea of, uh, that you care about their feelings about this thing you're building, and you want it to be for them, you really care. And then when you open it, it's like the launch cycle is basically, that thing we've been talking about together that you told me you really need to help you earn more money as a freelance writer. Now it's open and you can join it. And like I don't come out of marketing. I'm not a hardcore grind marketer. I'm a very sort of low key marketer. And the thing that really sparked me about paid community is that, when you're a coach, like I was doing some one-on-one coaching of freelance writers back then, what you always hear is, well, you need $10,000 clients. You need to find these big time, sell big ticket, sell high ticket. And the idea of it just sort of made me want to throw up.
Yeah,
It was just not for me. I didn't come out of the marketing world. I came from a pretty lower middle class family, and the idea of just like asking people for 10 grand off the top just sounded really awful to me. Also, I knew this audience was kind of broke. So I didn't think it was a fit for the people that I had the expertise to serve.
yeah,
And it was like I think that's why I sat with it for a while and didn't do it right away, is that it was like, "Oh, but I'm supposed to go get $10,000 clients," and it took me a while to just go, "No, I would rather do this." I would rather use the power of a low price to drive mass adoption. I still get paid plenty of money, and I'm able to help more people. That's the other problem with the whole $10,000 offer thing is like, how many people are you going to help in a year? 15, 20, maybe. And, through running paid community, we had something like 14,000 people through the doors over the decade that we ran it. It gives you the chance to just touch so many more lives. And I was kind of on a mission to help more freelance writers get off content mills and stop getting paid $5 an article and, you know what they were worth, know how to negotiate and bid and get gigs. Like, I didn't want to help a half a dozen people over in the corner there. I wanted to like change the industry I was in. And you can't do that, coaching one at a time because you don't have enough hours in the day. You have to coach one to many.
I
So,
I can imagine at the beginning it it was probably it was probably difficult building it up. What 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 was that tipping point where you was like, "This gotta be a different way. What can I do to change this?"
you mean after I launched it
Yeah.
or
Yeah, after you launch, like, what could you do to make that? Like, because 'cause I'm sure at first, how 'cause it would sometime I can imagine you being a freelance writer and everything, and you're experiencing all this. Because I know me as a podcast, when I first began, I didn't know anything. I had to teach myself and learn all these different things, and it would have been great if I would have been able to connect with someone to introduce me and show me the ins and outs. And so I could imagine, yes, it is something a lot of freelancers needed, but like you said, you know the experience, you know that a lot of them were broke. So how do you go about helping them and helping and build them up so that they're able to, I guess, eventually afford to pay you?
well, I priced it so they could afford it. My mantra was it's 25 bucks a month, no obligation, leave any time. Like 25 bucks, a couple of 3 lattes. Just come in here. It's all you can eat content. There were no tiers or any that was it. And you learn we had courses upon courses upon courses over time. We were always introducing new material and having experts on to talk about different aspects of freelancing. And, part of it is they come on, take one of our marketing courses and get a better client, and then they can afford to stay on. And that happened a lot. Um, when I sold it, my buyer immediately raised it to 40 bucks a month, and I never wanted to raise it because I just knew it would be a barrier for some people, so it was off mission for me. If
Mhm.
you just look at it as like I'm in this business to make money, maybe I would have done it, but I was in it for more than that.
Yeah.
You know, I was in it because because I felt deeply angry at how writers were being ripped off and I wanted it to stop, and I just so I ran it it was sort of run in a hobby goes mad kind of business model, um, based on some of my feelings about, the corporate world from covering business as a beat reporter for 12 years at 2 different publications. And, just seeing workers treated crummy and stuff, and I knew from the beginning I wanted to pay my people really, really well. I'm sure I'd be a lot wealthier woman today if I was all, "Oh, I'll outsource to people in Africa and the Philippines and, pay them a pittance to do work for me," but that isn't how I ran the business. I recruited people mostly from inside the community who really knew this audience and were part of it to be admins and blog editor and run the job board and all of the things. And we had nearly 0 turnover as a result. Like, I just did not have to think about it. My people were my people. Like, all the way through. And that was important to me too. That was a part of my mission to, create real good American jobs, not uh, just, oh, all the money's got to be for me. I made enough money doing it. People should hire people and pay them well. Really, the turnover of having to constantly hire because you're paying cheap, it's not worth it.
Absolutely not. Yeah, definitely.
But so, the membership grew pretty steadily to about 500 just based on my blog audience and doing what we did. And then it kind of leveled off there. And that's when I had to back up and look at the business model. And I once thought having 500 members would solve all my life problems, but that was before I realized how many people I would need to help me do the business, which back then there were no platforms like School, which my Community Growth Academy is on now. It was all hand coded, getting plugins to talk to each other. It was thousands and thousands of dollars of back end every month. And so then I had the insight that I needed 1,000 members, and I just kind of it wasn't building. And what a mentor of mine pointed out to me is that we were continuously open. You could join at any time, you could quit at any time, go back at any time. And he was like, you need to close the doors and make it have a more exclusive feel. And so people need to stay in because they don't know when they can get back in. And people need to join now because you're only open like for a few days. And we did that, and that drove it to 1,000 members, where it got stuck again. And around that time, I started to get approached by buyers and started to learn about what they would pay, what they would need from me. There was all kinds of like financial accounting things I wasn't doing. I started learning about what I would need to do to prep the business for sale. And one of the big things is I learned was that I would need to get to 1,500 members to make it make sense as a sale, to get an amount of money that would make sense to me to let go of the business. And which I kind of wanted to do. A lot of founders who do what I do, they're there for like 18 months and then they sell out. Like I was like a decade in actually running that business all the time, iterating new courses, doing all of the things. And I was ready. I felt like I had done what I'd come to do. I'd created the resource that I wanted writers to have. I'd taught all the topics I knew about, and it was kind of time to move on, but I needed to get the numbers up higher. And in that case, I did about, I think, 10 grand of business consulting. I hired someone that I met at a conference, and she really helped me position the business for sale. She pointed out to me that over the many years, um, I had gotten kind of a lot of different things going on. It wasn't just this community. I kind of had another thing I was co-doing with someone else, and I had a coaching program. And looking at it through a buyer's eyes, that stuff doesn't matter. All these kind of side projects. The coaching program is me. That's going to go away. It has no value to a buyer. So she was like, you got to trim off all this other miscellany you have going on and stop asking people to buy 8 different things, and all roads lead to the den. And that is exactly what we did. I actually put my coaching program in a box. I excuse me, I coursified it so that it could be done self-study, and just kind of put that together so it was another product in the community, which then it added value to the sale, and just ended my co-partnership and all the other crazy things I was doing. And then along came COVID right about then. So my experience with downturns in the economy is that for every like 100 people who get laid off, 50 of them would like to be freelance writers now. So it was a really good boom time for this particular model. And I was like, let's go, let's sell it. People were joining, it was going, the numbers were looking great. And there is really a zen to that. There is really a feng shui to when businesses have kind of a moment where it would be good to sell them, where all the pieces are in place, and that was kind of my moment, and I ended up selling it in the depths of COVID winter to people I never was in a room with. It was like the very first, months of COVID.
Mm. So
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 crazy. It was very crazy.
A lot of Zoom and yeah.
And like the minute they bought it was that storm where Texas's infrastructure failed and ice was
Oh,
inside
nice.
everyone's
Yes.
houses and things, and they couldn't do anything, and yeah, it was extremely insane. But yeah, that's kind of the story of how it ended up, that business's kind of journey.
And it's amazing you go and you turn your blog and you evolve it into this business that now you sell and what now? After you sell the business, what's next? Like
Well,
what's
that was in 2021.
yeah,
So, I don't know, after collapsing, um, because when you're selling the business, it's like you have 2 full-time jobs, 'cause
yeah,
you can't let the numbers go down in your business needs to keep cranking. So
yeah.
you're doing that, and you're doing the full-time job of selling the business. There, you're answering questions every day. "What about this? How long does the average member stay in your community?" They just want stats, stats, stats that you have not necessarily got, you know, to hand, and, af yeah, the thing I had started as I was kind of going into the sale process was getting more back into, freelance writing myself, and what I do is ghostwrite books. So I had actually gotten a few contracts and was writing books, and so I had that work to do, and, we remodeled the kitchen and bought the RV and went on trips and, did things that you do when you have an exit, and then I started to miss community.
Mm,
I told my business broker, "I'm done. You don't have to worry about me wanting to start a competing business, 'cause I'm old and I don't wanna do this anymore." And then I had a conversation with kind of my biggest mentor. Uh, his name is John Morrow, and he was an editor at Copyblogger, and his platform is Smart Blogger and a bunch of other things. And, he's a very inspiring person who can only move his face. He has spinal muscular atrophy, and all he does is think of brilliant business ideas. Um, and he was starting a program to help creators, and he was wondering if I was a fit for it, and I was like, "Well, I'm not because I have this non-compete, and I can't start another freelance writing business, and that's all I know about. I know about freelance writing." And he was like, "Really? In 12 years of running freelance writing then, did you not learn anything else?" And I was like, "Oh, wow, I learned to run paid community. Oh my god, I could talk about paid community all day. I love it. It's the best business model." And it was like I never would have had that insight. So
mm,
one of my big tips is always like talk to mentors, bounce your stuff off people because they see things in you that you're not seeing. I never would have woke up one day and gone, "Oh, I know, I could teach paid community." But it was a snap to write the courses for it, for the community that we launched. This is all just stuff that I'm just pulling it out of my brain and getting it on paper. Um, we dealt with every kind of weird thing, bizarre members you have to kick out. How do you do that in a kind way? Every kind of scenario. How do you launch a course? How do you upsell people in the community? Um, we had done all the things. So, we just his team worked on the launch of Community Growth Academy and kinda helped make it a reality. I didn't really know anything about the platforms that have arisen, School and Circle and Kajabi and all of these solutions that are now out there that make, running paid community incredibly easy. I mean, I wish this stuff had been around in 2011 when I was launching. Literally, School has a $9 a month program now where you can put up a community for $9 a month.
wow.
And it's just like it's completely full featured, everything works. They do the affiliates, You don't have to do any paperwork on people who refer you people and you wanna pay them commissions. It's all handled by school. Just it is such a breeze to run a community now compared to the past. It's like the technology has caught up with this model,
Yeah.
and it's amazing what you can do now. It's like the members I have now, one is from Africa, one is from India. You're helping people all over the world and bringing people together who are trying to do a thing. In my case, they're all launching communities, and I don't know. It's exciting to see them launch and start making sales and start helping the people they want to help.
Oh yeah, no, it's a wonderful feeling whenever you because I just recently helped someone get something accomplished, and just the fact that I was able to get help them accomplish a dream, something that they've never thought that would ever get done, and to have it happen to me, that was the biggest reward for me, was to see that person's face light up and them actually cry when I when they were actually had the proof in their hands and they're like, so that to me is the most rewarding part of it, is being able to help someone whose whose dream and vision is to see something and you're able to help them see that.
I say it's better than butter. It's like I think I think it's a special breed of people who have this kind of heart for community and for transforming others' lives and are not like, I just need to go make 6 figures as a freelance writer for myself and it's all good. That's great. And okay, a bunch of people are suffering and earning $5 an article because they don't know what they're doing. But like, I'll just go make my big money because I know how. I think that's most people. And it takes a special kind of heart to be willing to stop in your journey and go, no, let me bring you along. Let me bring thousands of people along with me to have a better life. And I always say it's like better to me when they got a freelance writing got job, or they launched their community than like when I did it.
Yeah.
So
No, it's
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 like
an amazing feeling. Yeah, no,
it's amazingly gratifying, and that will is what I was missing. I mean, I'm helping my authors with my book ghostwriting, but you're kind of back to helping one person at a time rather than having a broad impact.
mhm,
And what I discovered doing this new business is that I thought my thing was that I love helping freelance writers make money. And what I learned doing this new business that goes across all kinds of businesses and hobby ideas and things is that I just love helping people make money.
yeah,
It's broader. It's big. I had a bigger mission that I could do, you know, than just helping this one little segment. And that really is what it is. It's just I get jazzed by it. I'm just like, one our first member who launched in Community Growth Academy, like, early this year, uh, he was running some free Facebook groups and posting free stuff on LinkedIn, and he was an investment manager who wanted to sell his business and just get into consulting, kinda semi-retire,
yeah,
and he opened a paid community, told all those free people in Facebook to join the paid community to get all his information instead of he was doing a lot of one-off selling of different financial products he had and stuff, and then selling consulting, and it was like a lot. It was a lot of having to sell a lot. And he stuck it all in the community and said, "It's all in there, just join it." And he has almost 600 members.
mhm,
And I think he's at like 35 a month now. He could be a lot higher too. But just to see him like in almost instantly manufacture 150K a year income, and he's 80. This is his retirement.
wow,
This is his retirement plan now. This thing can run without him. This is the other thing about paid community is that you don't have to do all the things. You can hire people to do the things. We used to get moderators from inside the community to answer questions, and you can kind of be as active in your community as you want to be or not want to be.
yeah,
What Steve told me, the guy I'm telling you about, is that he travels a lot. He goes on like 4 month-long trips all the time. And he says, "Well, when I'm out, I'm out, and I have a few longtime people who I managed money for back in the day, and they can answer questions while I'm gone. But when I'm here, I enjoy doing it. I love talking about money with people and their investing. But it's like he can walk away from it and go, I think he just posted a picture of himself in front of the Taj Mahal. He's out living his life, and with one-on-one coaching, that ain't what happens. You know,
Yeah,
it's all you. You got to show up.
if you don't know, if you don't, and that's something like I've been looking at and everything, and I can see that paid community it's where that's the next step for me.
It, yeah,
Yes, yeah, because I guess I have a Facebook group of 500 people, whatever it is, but yeah, I think it is time for me to transition towards that mark that way, and yeah.
this just keeps happening to me on podcasts. Everyone I come on, the podcaster reveals their secret dream of doing a community themselves. And then we get them in my community. And, there's a whole bunch of you in the community already. I did not know that was gonna happen when I was podcasting. I just wanted to talk to entrepreneurs and people looking to do a home-based business about this model because it is so powerful.
Mhm, yeah,
Um, and yeah, like what you just said about it's the next step for you. The thing is that there's just no exit. Most people who are in online business, it's just this grind culture and it's all you. And Tim Ferriss can take his 4-hour work week and shove it. I don't know anyone who earns serious money online. I have never encountered anybody who's really doing that. They all work like dogs. And we all care passionately about our businesses, and we're not outsourcing it to China and, we're on a beach with a drink. Like, we're working really actively in our businesses. But the question is, yeah, where's the exit? How do you ever get to stop? Where is the retirement nest egg gonna come from? Because most, people I know are bootstrapping and they're freelancers, they're creatives. They are putting away like nothing for retirement.
yeah,
Their model is, "I'm gonna work till I die." I mean, I've literally had people tell me that, you know, that my plan is work till you die. Well, I'm old enough now that I can tell you that is not really. I mean, my dad's 94. He
yeah,
cannot work now. You've gotta realize this is not possible. This is unrealistic, and you need to be thinking about building saleable assets. Build a thing that can live on without you, that a buyer could have, and I can just tell you that online business buyers, they love recurring revenue. They love recurring revenue businesses. They're very stable and predictable, and there are a lot of ways to take yourself out of the business, bring on other experts, delegate things, let the community support each other, which is really the magic of community,
yeah,
and you have an asset that a buyer could take over and operate. I sold my first business 4 years ago now, and it is still just rolling along, has members. I know because I get, LinkedIn DMs of like, "Thank you for building this," and I'm like, "Well, I sold it 4 years ago, but please enjoy." But all those trainings, I did a lot of very fundamental, like, how to write a pitch letter, how to do this in a professional way and get paid well, and those resources are still helping more people, even though I'm gone, and that also, for those of us who get very deeply gratified by helping other people, is an incredible legacy for me to feel like I don't even have to be there and I'm still helping people. Those materials just continue to help people.
yeah,
And so, well, we went to Europe for almost a month earlier this year. And on that tour, I met 3 of my people from the first community, some of whom are now in this community working on their own community models. But one of them lives in Paris now. She had a very tragic background. Her husband got cancer when she was pregnant with their first child and died shortly after that child was born. Just like super hard luck story. And she built her business up until she wasn't even freelance anymore. She was consulting. Now she convenes a conference in Paris every year about her niche, and she just, yeah, I we got to like sit by the Seine and have a croissant, and she was like, "You changed my life." You know, you can't put a price tag on running a business this way, on how meaningful, how fulfilling it is to do that, and meanwhile, I was making a great living at 25 bucks a month a person. We were living in a five-bedroom house on Lake Washington in Seattle in a nice neighborhood. It gave us a really nice lifestyle. I made plenty of money, just a little bit per person, not $10,000 a person. And for me, this is my sweet spot. I'm really excited to be
Well,
paid
think
community.
about it. You can get that one client for 10,000, right? And he'll be just your one client, or you get 1,000 clients at $25 each client.
That's more money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I love the power of mass, of pricing something low enough that mass adoption can occur, you know? And the fun thing I'm seeing people doing in school, that I was always a hater of this, but I'm starting to see some interesting things in it, is that they have a free community.
Mm.
And so obviously that drives mass adoption. It's free. You can just join it. And then is how they create their audience to sell their paid things. So, and then in their classroom tab, they've got paid courses and paid coaching, and they just upsell them out of the free community. So there's kind of more than one way to skin this community cat now. Other people are doing different paid tiers where there's a cheap one and there's a more high end one where you get more of the leader, and there's a lot of different ways to structure it
Mm.
that can be, really lucrative, and that all, have that sort of mass adoption. You can help many people kind of thing, which I love.
So for someone building a community now in 2024, what trends or shift should they pay attention to?
Mm. Well, I mean, there are a lot of paid communities out there, and I think a lot of people are kind of throwing them open without really planning their launch and getting clarity about who their clients are. And um, I'm a big fan of building these in public with a lot of discussion with your prospects. And I was on there, "What do you think about this logo? What do you think of these brand colors?" The name of Freelance Writers Den, should it be writers apostrophe S or S apostrophe or no apostrophe? That was a 100 comment blog thread. So because writers care about that kind of stuff a lot. And the correct answer is headlines don't have to be grammatical, no apostrophe. But the process of working that out all together, that was 100 people who got all involved in the idea that there's gonna be this community. And, a the tragedy to me is there's a lot of people out there who are like, "Well, I know about this. I'll start a community." And then they go build a course or whatever, you know, stuff they're gonna have in the community, and they open the doors, and they're like, "Carol, why is no one joining my community?" I'm like, "Well, did you build a list of people who you've talked to about it, who are on board with it? And so you have the right stuff in there and it's at the right price point for them." And, you know, there's a lot of people who wanna just sit in a corner with their startup and kinda guess. They have an idea and they're like, "The world will love this," and they don't wanna expose it to oxygen. They don't wanna reality check that anywhere with any real live humans, because they might find out they need to do something different, or they might need to tweak it. And they kinda just wanna do what they wanna do, and that's not what paid community that is successful is about. It is a service business, like, with a capital S. It is all about give the people what they want. And to do that, you have to find out what they want. You have to be talking to them and being like, "What if we had co-working hours? Would you show up at that? What about an all hands brainstorm? What about we do a training on a topic every month?" Do you want, a daily chat at a particular time? You gotta find out what they want out of you, you know, because there's what you know, and then there's how are you going to get it out of your head to help them? Is it like things that are live? Is it text-based lessons, video lessons? They want a transcript. What do they how do they want how does this info get in their brains? You have to figure out how they want that delivered and how much of it at a time. How often should you do X, Y, Z with or does it become overwhelming? Or is it not enough stuff? So you have to tweak your offer kind of with your people. I did a pre-survey and got about 100 responses that was formed the basis for what we did for launch, for what you need. The minute you're open, you start creating more useful
Yeah.
stuff from people, and you have live customers to talk to, which are even better than prospects to talk to. And you develop it more from there. But it's like I think a lot of people want to skip road testing their idea and tweaking it and making sure it's got an audience before they launch it. That's just the thing I see happening. Because it's so easy to open now. Hey, $9 on school. Hey, I opened a community. Well, that doesn't mean you're going to make any money. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, you have to just because you build it doesn't mean they're just gonna come.
Yeah,
You
totally,
you gotta
exactly.
you have to you have to go out and bring them to yeah, like,
Yeah, you have to convene your audience
yeah,
around it and see that people are excited about it and need it. There's some scenarios and types of things where maybe community isn't the thing that would work for them. There's situations that involve a lot of confidentiality or people are worried about competitive, they don't want to talk amongst competitors about what they're doing in their business. There's situations where maybe this isn't the format. Maybe you need to stick up a course and create an epic funnel and the course runs on autopilot and that's the best way to help them. It's not the solution for every single situation on earth, but it is a useful thing for a whole lot of them, man. Go on school and search on Discovery, and you'll see the top ones are about crazy stuff. How to do calligraphy, uh, men who are into cologne. These are like two of the biggest ones. Well, I am not making this up. It's not just, oh, how to make more money or maybe fitness, obviously, is a huge space and getting workouts and stuff and getting accountability on that. But there is everything under the sun communities are coming together around that. I think geography is a barrier. I mean, the magic of online community is it allows you to create a community that doesn't exist in any physical one spot. It's like Dallas doesn't have enough of these kind of people, but everyone all around the world, there's enough people. And each of those persons is kind of working alone and feeling alone and, not having anyone to talk to about their thing. I mean, in Freelance Writers Den, it was insane. People would be like, "Oh my god, I live in Peoria and I don't know, everyone here just keeps asking me when I'll get a job and they don't understand freelancing, and now this is amazing. I have an accountability buddy and everyone here understands freelancing." And so there's a magic to that.
mhm.
Um, I think of it as the good of the internet. There's many downsides we have discovered, but this ability to connect people around a common goal or a common interest online from all over the world, this is the higher purpose, to me, of the internet.
Oh, no, it's definitely transformed my life being able to have these conversations, and for me, this happened because of COVID. Like, I was furloughed from work, I was home, I had purchased, this little podcasting equipment from Amazon the year in 2019, and I was gonna start a podcast, and it never happened. But then, like I said, I got furloughed in 2020, and I was home with this equipment, and I just finally decided to press record, and Stuck in My Mind was born, and but it was a year of me just messing around with the equipment and recording and deleting, recording, just like, oh, I suck. Who's gonna want to listen to me, and all these excuses until I finally decided just to just press record and release it.
Yeah, so much of business is about this, about getting over that hump moment and just going, "Screw it." I wanna tell you that this is, like, something I haven't talked about a lot, but one of the reasons I wanted to sell the business is that I felt too old to show up online. At
Mm,
the time, I was losing a lot of my hair. I've since made a deal with the devil to grow it back, but, at the time, I just felt like, "This is a young person's game, and I need to get out of it because 'cause I'm not young anymore. I've been doing this a long time, and, like, I need to just leave the stage here." And that's the other thing that happened over the few years I was off is the part of me that's like, "Screw that noise," started to kinda bubble up, and I was like, "No, wait a minute, those 20 somethings on TikTok don't really know anything, and people need information, and
mm.
I'm gonna show up if I feel like it." And that, really played into my feelings about doing Community Growth Academy.
Oh, no, no, when I started
I
my
was back.
when I was
I decided, "No,
when
I can help more people,"
when
and I wanted to do it no matter how sad my face is.
I was
Um,
I was I was 44 when I started my podcast,
right on.
and my wife could have easily been like, "What do you mean like, you wanna do a podcast?" And but no, she was very supportive. She seen that I was really into it. It was something that I just loved. I was just having so much fun, and she saw when how dedicated I was to it, and she was like, "Okay, what can we do?" She says, "You love doing this. I see it brings out a different part in you. Like, what can we do to build this? Like, let's what can we do?" And we've done that. We've built a production company. We've done so many different things since I've launched the podcast. But
That's awesome.
it's just the fact that she was very supportive, and she coulda easily been like, "Well, you're 44 years old. What do you mean you wanna start a podcast? What do you mean you wanna do this?" And no, she's like, she's seen that I just she's seen a different side of me, a side of me. She was like, "No, I like that. I see that this is something you're very passionate about. You're and obviously it looks like you're pretty good because she's seeing people telling her and this and that, and so yeah. So,
I too have been blessed with an extremely supportive spouse, and yeah, your spouse needs to get on board, people. If you are an entrepreneur, they need to understand that this has the potential to make more money than you will ever imagine in your day job. And, take a chance and invest a little in yourself, and you'll never regret that, trying to do that. Um, we hit a point where my husband actually developed a seizure disorder. We had 3 kids at home, including 2 special needs adopted kids, and we really needed a full-time stay-at-home parent, and I was like, I just think if you just stayed home, I could replace your income." It's just a feeling I have, I have no evidence. And he was like, "Yeah," he did it. That's what we did. And then I made more money than we used to swap who had the big job, and then I ruined the model because I made too much. But, there was no job he could get that would replace the income I then had. So he ended up being the stay-at-home dad for, like, a decade of
mm,
our kids' childhood until they left for college. And, then, 4 years later, I'm like, "Honey, John says I should start this business and I should put a chunk of money into this and open another platform." And he was like, "Yeah, you should probably do that." Just non-discussion. I spouses have to have that trust that I just felt when I was launching my businesses, like, I always say I felt like I was pulled by an invisible thread coming out of my belly button. It was just like, "Go this way. You need to go over here, Carol." And, I used to put my kids to bed and work 8 to midnight on creating my online
she
business for
oh,
years.
my wife is she's amazing. And the thing is she's helped people start their own business, right?
Cool.
And but I guess she hasn't done it for herself. Like,
Well,
she
she's
yeah,
next.
yeah, I know. She's so we're working on that. We're working but,
Right on.
she's helped other people build businesses. So, I'm like,
Awesome.
"Okay, why haven't you done this for I'm like, you're extremely talented and gifted, and you know what you're doing. Why haven't you done this? Like, you're helping me, you're showing me things and so, but no, she's kind of,
I have the same problem with my husband, so we have to talk about this after on off air. My husband's a UCLA film school graduate and videographer, and I always wanted him to start his business, but that isn't how it worked out. So
but no, it's leaning towards that now. So she's really like, yeah,
cool.
I'm getting tired of working for somebody else. Like, so yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
Business. Like, so yeah, that's something we're working on. But
I love it.
thank you so much for being a guest. But we've come to the part of the show where you get the spotlight and you get to plug away and let everybody know where they can, if they can go join your community, or
You can. Yeah, we're just at Community Growth Academy on school. You can search us right up where it's like s it's school with a K if you aren't familiar, .com/community dash growth dash academy. That's it, and, go to the About page. It has a video that talks all about this model and my expertise in it, and there's some success story videos, you can see as well, and there is a free case study on there on in depth how I built my first community and sold it. And, so feel free to grab that.
awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for being a guest. I appreciate your time. And we don't leave because we are going to chat a little bit off the air. But thank you again for being such a wonderful guest. I've had a great time talking to you.
My pleasure, Will.
All right. Another great episode is in the books. If Carol's insight hit home, go visit Community Growth Academy and explore how you can build your paid community the right way. And if you know a coach, consultant, or expert who's tired of chasing clients and ready to create consistent income plus impact, share this episode with them because the world needs to hear her message. And now you have a blueprint. So stay committed, stay impactful, and stay wise. Thank you all for tuning in. And you know, your boy Wise does it. Peace out.